It measures over 5 metres long, tips the scales at more than 2.2 tonnes, seats 7 people in luxurious comfort, and goes like the clappers. Enter the Audi Q7 50 TDI Quattro S-Line. We've spent 3 months and just over 2,500 kilometres with Audi's largest SUV. And before it departs the Cleary family driveway, we want to give you a recap on how it performed as our long-term companion. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Spoilers, it's mostly good. If you want to plot your own adventure through this review, you can jump ahead. Here are the time codes. And if you're watching on YouTube, the chapter markers are in the timeline below. You can find the link to my detailed written review in the description if you're watching on YouTube. And if you are and haven't already, hit like, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and click that bell icon so you can stay on top of all our latest content. This is the Q7 50 TDI S-Line, second from the top in Audi's main Q7 range. And that's a competitive number in the world of premium large 7-seat SUVs. For example, an equivalent BMW X7 will cost you about an extra $10,000. Think Mercedes-Benz GLS and you're looking at another $30K above the price of a Q7. No surprise, it's loaded with luxury and safety features. And if you want all the detail on that, you can read my 3-part written review on the website. Here we're going to focus on how it functions as a day-to-day workhorse. You might even say warhorse. Heading into the urban jungle, you want to be comfortable, and the driver and front passenger enjoy heaps of room and premium Valcona leather on their heated seats. Just about everything in here is controlled via these 3 ultra-slick screens. The one in front of me is Audi's virtual cockpit, which is a configurable instrument display. At the top of the center console is a large one for multimedia and a slightly smaller one below it for heating, ventilation and air conditioning. It also doubles as a writing pad for the navigation. It's all very slick, looks awesome, and the haptic buttons enhance that smartphone feel. For storage, there's a pair of cup holders in the center console and bins in the doors with room for bottles, as well as an armrest between the seats with a shallow storage tray underneath, plus multiple power and connectivity options, including wireless device charging. Well, here we are in the second row, and I see this as the engine room of any family car. This is where it all happens, and Audi has done it really well. For example, these seats can slide fore and aft, but quite a long way, so that if you want to offer some more room to people in the third row, you can. But if that's not a big deal, put it back and you can even recline into a rather luxurious position, which is pretty special. Also, this car has 4-zone climate control, and 2 of those zones are for the back seat here. So you can have your heating or air conditioning dialed up for either side of the back of the car. There's also fold-down center armrest with a couple of cup holders to keep everything under control, lots of connectivity, a couple of USB ports in the back there, and there are 3 Isofix anchor points across this row for child seats and baby capsules. Then it's time to enter the way back zone, the third row seat. There's not a lot of leg room and headroom is a little bit limited too, but you do get a cup holder on either side. There aren't any connectivity or power options really, and you're going to get your air supply, I suppose, from the rest of the car, but really, it's a kid's zone. And it's worth noting there are Isofix anchors on these seats too. So if required, you can strap in a total of 5 baby capsules or child seats. The mind boggles. Then there's the all-important cargo space. Even with all 7 seats up, capacity is as much as a small hatch or city-sized SUV. Drop the third row via handy buttons near the back of the load space, and that grows substantially. Lower the second and the third row seat, and you're on the cusp of a studio apartment. I think it's kitchen over there, maybe a lounge here. It's going to look great. Standard air suspension has a positive impact on this Q7's ride, which we'll get to shortly. But it also means you can lower the rear end around 100mm at the touch of a button, which is really helpful. But before we hit the road, let's open up the other end. Oh yeah, this auto tailgate's really handy too. Under here is a 3-litre V6 turbo diesel engine, developing 210 kilowatts and 600 Newton meters. It's matched to an 8-speed auto transmission with drive going to all 4 wheels via Audi's Quattro all-wheel drive system. A 48-volt mild hybrid system is also on board, primarily to aid fuel economy by powering the standard stop-start system and allowing the car to coast for up to 40 seconds between speeds of 55 kilometres an hour and 160 km/h. So this car's big and makes clever use of its substantial footprint on the inside. But at 5.1 metres long and more than 2 tonnes in weight, what's it like to drive? Despite its size and chunky curb weight, the Q7 50 TDI is claimed to accelerate from 0 to 100 km/h in 6.5 seconds, and maximum torque is available from 2250 to 3250 RPM, and with 8 ratios in the automatic transmission, you're never far away from that sweet spot, and pulling power is nice and strong. Then there's the ride. It's magnificent. Despite the big 21-inch rims wrapped with low-profile Continental rubber, the adaptive air suspension and the continuously variable dampers do an amazing job. Certain members of the Cleary family have been known to suffer from motion sickness from time to time, but even road trip burgers and smoothies didn't cause a hint of unease. Overall, the Q7 feels comfortable, but it never tips over into being floaty. It's taut and well balanced and steers really nicely for such a high-riding, big SUV type vehicle. The standard head-up display is really welcome, particularly on the freeway, as is the adaptive cruise control. And I like the fact that when you're pulling out to overtake, it doesn't leave you hanging out there. It picks up the throttle fairly quickly, not just taking time to make up its mind like some other systems can. One thing I really like is this 2 sun visor arrangement. You've got the larger one that you can pull to the side, and yet you still have another visor for the front. And where that's great is on a twisting road with late afternoon sun, where the sun's kind of moving around. So you've got both bases covered. I really love it. But it must be said, the lane keeping assist function is overly aggressive. It's too keen to steer the car into even gently sweeping bends, and I did my best to keep it at bay through the myriad checkboxes offered in the car's setup control screens. But it's time to get off the open road. There's another, arguably even more important part of this car's natural habitat that we need to explore. The shopping centre car park. Although it's big, the Q7 is relatively easy to manoeuvre in this environment. You've got good sight lines to each of its extremities, and the electrically assisted power steering is nice and light at parking speeds. It's worth calling out that Audi's warranty at 3 years unlimited kilometres has been kicked to the curb in this part of the market by Mercedes-Benz and Genesis at 5 years unlimited kilometres, although you do get 3-year paintwork cover and 12 years manufacturer warranty against bodywork corrosion. And a 5-year service plan at $3,380 isn't bad at all. Service intervals are 12 months or 15,000 kilometres, whichever comes first. Then, fuel economy. On more freeway bias sections, we got a number at the pump of 7.9 litres per 100 kilometres, and in more city and suburban type running, that stepped up a bit to 8.9. And over 2,500 kilometres in 3 months, we averaged 8.4 litres per 100 kilometres. And for such a large vehicle, I think that's a pretty good effort. So after 3 months with the Q7 50 TDI S line, It's proved to be easy to drive. It's solid value, ultra practical, and supremely comfortable. It's not perfect, but it's very, very good. We've loved it. Abschied.